Rhydon, one of the original RBY Pokemon Challenges memes. It's the Pokemon that we use when we want to choose the right Pokeball in any of our random selections. Rhydon's a very interesting case because it's, of course, famously the first Pokemon ever designed. It's also designed around the idea of horn drill. It has a literal drill on its face. And yet, this Pokemon can't really use horn drill because it has 40 base speed. In Gen 1, one-hit KO moves only hit if you outspeed your opponent, meaning that this Pokemon isn't going to be using that horn drill on anything in this run, folks. We're never going to outspeed. So, how do we get through? Well, we have two things going for us. We have a huge attack stat, and we have a huge defense stat. Will those be enough to overcome some insane challenges as we go through this one? Misty's going to be 4 times super effective on us. Erika's going to have 4 times super effective moves on us. Giovanni's team uses Earthquake and Double Kick in this version. And then we have to get through Lorelei, we have to get through Lance, and then we have the champion using a Sand Slash that has a 100% accurate Earthquake. Is this even possible? Let's get into it. Today, we are going to run a Rhydon on 0 DVs and minimum battles to see if this Pokemon deserves a spot among all of the challengers that can beat the game on minimum battles. Let's get into it. Now, before we get into the proper run, I do have to give a huge shout out. Mark McCarty dropped the first ever super chat on this channel, and my mind is absolutely blown, dude. I had 55 subscribers at the start of April, and we're up to 1,300, and now people are dropping super chats on my video. I can't believe it. Thank you so much. Today, our character is going to be named for Mark. Let's go. We are going to name our character Mark M in honor of Mark McCarty. And we are going to get straight into this run. Now, when we look at Rhydon, we don't really expect it to struggle at all in the early game. I mean, it's a rock-type Pokemon, and all of our opponents are basically going to use normal and poison-type moves. So this should be pretty easy, right? Well, starting off here, we're going to give our Rhydon a proper name. We're going to name it Drizilla. Boss Kaio, thanks for that one. And we are going to get into this action. So, now that we've got Drizilla going, it's time to check that we have 0 DVs and to get into the first fight. We start with some pretty strong moves here. Stomp. We're gonna stomp this Eevee into oblivion. There we go. And now we are off. We can take on the Bug Catcher in Viridian Forest. These are our only 2 battles before Brock because this is a minimum battles run. But when we get to Brock, if you thought that was gonna be easy because we have high HP and defense, oh yeah. This one is an absolute nightmare. You see, we can get through Geodude pretty reliably, but once we get to the Onix, we have barely any HP left, and if he starts using Bide or Bind, we get completely wrecked every single time. We are waiting for some insane ranges to be able to get through this one, and I think I sped up the footage and I've got like 5 minutes of footage at 8 times speed going here. So when you consider I play at nearly 10 times speed and I have 8 times speed footage that is 5 minutes, we're really talking about 400 minutes of in-game time, guys. This is stupid. So basically, we're just hoping to get the ranges to finally get through this fight. We're often getting to the Onix with just a few HP remaining. Can we do this? Is this even possible on 0 DVs? So finally, in this run, we're going to be setting up some Tail Whips at the start in order to lower the defense of the Geodude. After that, we can stomp it down in just a few turns, and we're going to get through with decent HP left, 11 HP after we level up. Now, we want Onix to use Bide first so that we can start setting up our Tail Whips. After that, we're actually going to use multi-hit moves like Fury Attack, because Bide, when it's hit with a multi-hit move, it only counts the last hit when it's calculating how much damage to do back. So we could do maybe 10 damage and not take as much back. We finally get the range. We finally get through Brock. There we go. So after that, moving on to the routes headed to Cerulean City, Youngster Joey's no problem. Team Rocket, they're going to be no problem either, because they really just can't do that much to us. I mean, sure, Rap sucks, but anything else other than Poison plus Rap is not going to take us out. So basically, we just have to bam stomp on the Ekans, stomp on the Meowth, and let's use some stomp on the Coughing. We get poisoned, that's okay. We'll make it through, we've got an antidote. So now let's just try Misty. Let's see how this goes. And yeah, Staryu one-shots us with a water gun. Okay, we're gonna pick up the rare candy and go fight Rival 2 instead. The good news here is that Spearow can't do that much to us, and Sandslash can't really do too much outside of Sand Attack. So here, Stomp pretty much wrecks the entire team. We're on Fury Attack now just because we don't have enough PP left over. Can we get the range? There we go. It was never in question, guys. So now we're just gonna crush all of the required trainers on the way to Bill's house, because we just need experience to have any shot at getting through Misty. The final last has 2 Oddish, but fortunately, Absorb is a weak enough move that we can get through this eventually. Now, I lost the first attempt, I heal up, and here we find that we're actually in a speed tie with the Oddish. So we're able to stomp them down, and we can now get to Bill's house and save him from his Pokemon experimentations. After we get that done, we can go back to Cerulean, and now let's see if we can get through at this point. We're gonna fight the innocent bystander, Team Rocket Grunt, and get the TM for Dig. That will be our first stab move. Dig has 100 base power and 1.5 times stab bonus, so maybe that will be enough to beat Misty? Well, here, Staryu is a one-hit KO, but Starmie can one-shot us. Okay, back to the drawing board. Let's go fight Rival 3. Rival 3 is not too bad yet again, because he only has basically normal type attacking moves in Pokemon Yellow version, meaning that we can just stomp and dig our way through his entire team. There we go. We pick up the Cut HM, and now we have no excuses, folks. We just have to go and fight Misty. And this goes about as well as you might expect. We are just getting wrecked over and over and over again. I reached the point where I used both of my rare candies, and we're still getting wrecked. It turns out that the only way we're ever going to get through this fight is if we can get Misty to use an X Defend, turn 1 on her Starmie, and then we can get a critical hit. The critical hit chance for a Rhydon is only 7.8%. And that's after we've gotten the X Defend the first turn, and that's assuming that we didn't get KO'd by the Staryu. So we have a really tough time getting through this fight. So here we go. We're going to use Dig on Staryu. We survive 1 hit. She uses an X Defend. We get the crit. Finally, we are through Misty. So now let's go fight Lieutenant Surge, because we need an easy one after that. Come on. Here, 1 dig. That's all it takes to take down the Raichu. We are moving on, folks. The first junior trainer after Cerulean has 4 grass-type Pokemon, but fortunately at this point, Dig is so strong that we're able to take them out in 1 hit. So we just crush everything else as we make our way through Rock Tunnel without too much difficulty until we get to the junior trainer that has an Oddish and a Bulbasaur. We get taken out. Okay, let's try this again. Here we get a better range, and we're able to knock both Pokemon out. The Self-Destruct Hiker, he's a joke, because even if he hit us with Self-Destruct, we would resist it. Dig takes them all out. And there we go. We've made it to Lavender, and we can fight Rival 4. Against Rival 4, we really want to use Stomp to just take down the Fearow as quick as possible, dig on Magnemite, dig on the Shelder. Now, we're also going to spam dig to one-hit the Sandshrew and to one-hit the Eevee. There we go, we've gotten through Rival 4. Now, in Celadon, we have access to two very important TMs for this run. Ice Beam and Rock Slide. I figure, hey, Ice Beam, let's go try Erika? No, it's a one-hit KO. So let's go fight Team Rocket instead. We are going to take down Jesse and James very easily. No need to heal. Let's move on to Giovanni. One dig takes out Onix. Here, we're actually using Water Gun on these Pokemon. And then we're going to dig to take down the Persian in 2 hits. So with that being done, we can now go to Lavender Tower. And at this point, we actually are having a pretty easy time. I mean, the ghosts are all weak to ground-type moves, so this is another Pokemon that we really don't expect to struggle too much in this section. Now, the Ghost Marowak, on the other hand, we're probably in 2-hit KO range, but fortunately, it doesn't hit us twice. Going on to Jesse and James, we use Dig to take down Meowth, take down Arbok, and take down Wheezing all in 1 hit. We've gotten through that, and now it's time to get Mr. Fuji, get the Pokeflute, and we're gonna go on and try Rival 5. Now, for Rival 5, I sat here and thought about the strategy for quite a while. I tried Stomp first, it didn't really work. We can see that Cloyster with Clamp can basically just one-shot us and take us down. Let's dig against Sandslash, and now against Cloyster, let's dig and wait, we just saw something very important. This Cloyster can use Withdraw. And I got to thinking, hey, you know what? Thunderbolt might be the way to get through here. What we're going to do is we're going to use Dig again to take down the Sandslash. And then we're hoping for some withdraws while we use Thunderbolt. That one got really close. One more hit and we would have taken down Cloyster. Let's see if we can just grind this one out. Now, in hindsight, I probably should have just gone and gotten a TM like Substitute in Celadon, because Substitute would give us 1 free hit from the Cloyster, meaning that we wouldn't need as many withdrawals from it. I just avoided that for now because playing at the Celadon Game Corner to get 7,700 coins takes forever, but that's probably the better play if you were going to do this run properly. So here, we just grind over and over and over again. We're just hoping to get the luck to be able to finally get through. How many attempts will this one take? Well, it's going to be a while, folks. Sit back and relax and enjoy yourselves. Get yourself a refreshing drink. Here we go. We are using Dig on Sandslash. We take it down, Thunderbolt. And this time we get the Paralysis on Cloyster, which is perfect. We take it down. Now Dig is a one-shot on Magneton, Dig is a one-shot on the Kadabra, and Dig is a one-shot on the Flareon. We have beaten Rival 5. We can move on to Team Rocket. More easy cannon fodder. We are just taking them down and getting extra experience. We don't need to heal. Come on, we're poisoned, 7 HP, who cares? Let's move on to Giovanni. We heal up, and now we're just going to spam some digs to get through this one. There's not really any point in doing anything else. We take down Rhyhorn in 2 hits. Now, Nidoqueen uses double kick. We barely survive, but we get through. 2 hits, we're done. Now let's go fight Sabrina. Sabrina, when I was a kid, I always thought was the hardest of the gym leaders. But not anymore, because she's so weak to physical attacks that here our Rhydon just wrecks her team with Dig. It was never in question. So with that being done, let's get to Koga. We're feeling good. We got a type advantage. We got Rock Slide. Let's take this guy out. Yeah, this one's going pretty well right here. We get all the way to the Venomoth, and Psychic knocks us out. Here's the problem with Koga in Pokemon Yellow version. If this was Red and Blue, we would be super effective with Dig against all of his Pokemon, and we would be one-shotting everything. But in Pokemon Yellow version, his first and his third Venonat only use Sleep Powder because they think it's a super effective move against a Rhydon. It's grass type, so that's 4 times effective. They're just going to spam that. And then they also have Psychic type moves. Psychic, Psybeam, they can add on Toxic on top of that. So we're getting wrecked, even though you'd think we had an advantage. Here's what we need to happen. We need Sleep Powder to miss. We can Rock Slide down the first Venonat. We can Rock Slide down the second Venonat because it doesn't know Sleep Powder. We get a Sleep Powder miss from the third Venonat, and now we just need to not take Psychic. There we go. We have gotten through Koga, finally, by using Rock Slide. So let's go to the Safari Zone and pick up all the items that we need before we make our way to Blaine. Now, Blaine, you would think, again, shouldn't be too hard, but you would be wrong. I've been noticing in a lot of these runs that Blaine's Fire-type Pokemon also have really high critical hit chances, meaning that even when we resist Flamethrower, we get taken out a lot of times. So here we're trying to set up Dig. We've been confused, that's fine. We're gonna Dig and take down the Rapidash, and now it's really, do we take a Fire Blast from the Arcanine? We survived with 5 HP, but we got through it. We're gonna take the win. Let's go fight Giovanni. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is where I did my best J-Rose impression. I forgot to fight Erika. Let's go fight her. So anyway, in Erika's gym, even at this level, we can be wrecked by the Tangela. So we really need to either get a critical hit or to get some lucky misses. Now, we managed to get through and we Dig, we take down Weepinbell, we take down Gloom, and that one is done. There we go. So, now let's get back and fight Giovanni. Well, yeah, Giovanni's another one that I would have thought wouldn't be too bad because Earthquake and we have high defense, we should just be wrecking these Pokemon? No. We're getting completely wrecked. And I lost so many times because he uses Earthquake, Fissure, Dig with his Dugtrio. Then he uses Double Team and Slash with his Persian. And then he uses moves like Earthquake and Double Kick with his Nidos. And finally, he has Earthquake and Horn Drill with his Rhydon. So how are we getting through this one? Double Team, folks. So we've spammed all our double teams. We make our way through all of his Pokemon. We get all the way to the final Rhydon. We've got 30 HP. Can we make this work? We've run out of digs. Oh no, we have to use Rock Slide. And we take an Earthquake. Folks, that's as close as we got with Double Team for a very long time. Again, this is one of these spots where I probably, in hindsight, should have gone to Substitute. I just avoided it because I thought that I could eventually grind it out, but Substitute would be the way to go, because you could get to that final Rhydon and survive one hit. So here, we're trying it again. We're going to use Dig to take down the Dugtrio. We don't want to learn Fury Attack at this point. It's ridiculous that that move is learned at this level for a Rhydon. Here, we are going to now set up Double Team on the Persian because it can do far less damage to us than the Dugtrio can. Dugtrio can one-shot us or two-shot us. Here, with all of our Double Teams set up, we take down both of the Nidos with Dig. Can we get through the Rhydon? It's a 2-hit KO, but we finally get through. Now with Dugtrio, this is where we picked up Fissure and we were able to start wrecking things. We can't do that here. We don't outspeed. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to set up Double Team on Sandslash for Rival 6, and we are going to start spamming Dig to try to get through this one. Now, it's going to be a Rock Slide on the Execute, and Rock Slide on the Cloyster. We get through that, perfect. Dig on Magneton, we're going to Dig on Kadabra, and here we finally get through that, perfect, and it's a Dig to take down Flareon. But this is not looking super good. We're going to go and pick up all of the rare candies that we didn't pick up before at the warden's house, at the power plant. We're gonna go over to pick up the rare candy that I never pick up in Silphco, because we just need everything that we can possibly get. Our next challenge is Lorelei, and Lorelei's Dugong could be tough. So here, in the power plant, I always forget to come here and pick up the extra PP up. It's not a big thing in this run, but it can be really important in other runs. If you ever need an extra PP up, just come up here to the power plant, grab that, and the Mega Elixir is very good to get. It's one more PP restoring item that you can use against the Elite Four. Now, the other thing that we're also going to get is the Earthquake TM. Could be useful at some point, and we're going to get Mimic, because Mimic could be useful. Let's try our first attempt at Lorelei. So here, we're going to try to use Rock Slide and Double Team, but this just doesn't go very well. We are way too slow, and at this current level, both Aurora Beam and Bubble Beam are one-hit KOs on us. I decided to pop a few of my rare candies to get to level 46. So here we pop a few rare candies. Let's just see if level 46 lets us get through. So here, going into the fight, we're gonna set up Double Team, and yeah, Aurora Beam just takes us out. Okay, Bubble Beam just takes us out. Level 46 isn't enough, folks. Okay, let's pop some more rare candies. Let's see if we can get through now. We're gonna get all the way to level 51. Keep in mind, we used 2 rare candies before Misty, so we only have 8 available to us. Now we can survive an Aurora Beam, which means that we can start setting up Double Team, and now we can start trying to make our way through her team. I go for Thunderbolt here on the Slowbro. It's probably better just to go for Dig, but we take it down, and we get all the way to Lapras and get taken out by a Blizzard. Okay, so let's try again and see if we can make this work. So the whole strategy is to hope she uses Aurora Beam turn 1, and then start setting up Double Team, and hope that she doesn't hit us more times than that. And Substitute wouldn't help here. We're gonna have too little HP to set up a Substitute. We get through on that one. We use Rock Slides to take down the Cloyster. We take down the Slowbro. We take down the Jinx with Rock Slide, and we get through Lapras. Okay, that is one challenge down, but we have a lot more to come. So let's go ahead and heal up, and let's go ahead and try to fight Bruno. Now, Bruno could be really difficult. He does use moves like Dig and Earthquake in this version, plus he has moves like Ice Punch, High Jump Kick, Submission. But here, no. After we get Double Team set up, Dig is enough to one-shot all of his Pokemon. Let's move on to Agatha. So for Agatha, the strategy again is to set up Double Team, but we actually have a better chance here. She can use moves like Substitute and Confuse Ray, meaning that we can get some free turns to set up Double Team. Here, once we get it set up, we're paralyzed, but we Rock Slide down the Golbat. We take a Mega Drain. That's the problem at Pokemon Yellow. Her first Gengar knows Mega Drain. Super effective and can just take us out in one hit. Let's go ahead and restore our PP, and let's try this one again. Here, we are going to set up Double Team. We get a Substitute turn 1. We survive 1 Mega Drain. That's awesome. I don't know if it mattered that we had set up our Double Team at that point, but here we use Rock Slide to take out Golbat. Dig takes out Gengar. A Dig takes out Haunter. A single Dig takes out the second Gengar, and we take out the Arbok. Agatha is done. So, now we might be smooth sailing. Let's go ahead and try our hand at Lance. Now, Lance is another difficult spot, and in hindsight, I should have kept Thunderbolt on my moveset. I probably should have replaced Dig in this one with Ice Beam, but I wanted to keep Dig to use on the 2 Dragonair. So here, I put Ice Beam on our first slot, and you might be saying, hey, we're fishing for a miss here. We need Hydro Pump to have its 20% chance to miss us, and then we can maybe start setting up some double teams. But actually, setting up double team right away is the wrong play. We should go for Ice Beam instead, because a freeze guarantees that we can set up our double teams. Once we get the freeze and get our double teams off, we take it down with a Rock Slide. Here, Dig takes a couple of hits to take down each of the Dragonair, especially because he's using Hyper Potions. Let's see if Ice Beam or Rock Slide can take down the Aerodactyl. I use Rock Slide. We do manage to take it down in 2 hits, and a Rock Slide takes down the Dragonite. Okay, so now we have only one challenge in front of us, and you folks know what it is. Sandslash is only going to use Earthquake, and if we can't survive it, this run is done. Right here. Can we survive an Earthquake? Well, that was a critical hit. Okay, let's try again. Let's see if we can survive without a critical hit. It's got about a 20% chance to critical hit us, but we survive without a critical hit. Now, it's just a matter of setting up either Blizzard, Ice Beam, or Double Team. I decided to change to Blizzard here just for a little more power, but basically the strategy is use Ice Beam or use Blizzard turn 1. Here's the reason why. When you try to set up 6 double teams without getting hit by your opponent, the odds of setting up 6 double teams is only about 3.6% without being hit and KO'd. On the other hand, Ice Beam gives us a 10% chance to freeze. So Ice Beam is really 3 times more likely to make it so that we can get through the Sandslash than using Double Team. Don't tell all the guys who hate on Double Team that. Don't let them know that their move is much more broken. Anyway, we get through the Sandslash, we take down Alakazam, we are able to take down the Exeggutor. Here, we are all the way to Cloyster, we're on Flareon, and we faint because we had no HP left due to Leech Seed. Oh my god. So, we need to avoid a Leech Seed, and we need to get that kind of luck again. Let's see how many attempts this is gonna take. Well, folks, I was grinding here for a very, very, very long time. And we can have runs where we get to Cloyster, we can have runs where we get to Alakazam, we can have runs where we get to the Exeggutor. It's just an insane gauntlet. This is another spot where Substitute probably would have been the play. If I do this run again, it will be with Substitute, but not for the Sandslash. Because, really, I mean, we're just in a range to be one-hit KO'd by everything after taking that turn 1 Earthquake. We are going to get the freeze on the Sandslash, and here we are setting up our double teams. Perfect. And here we have gotten through. We don't want to learn Leer. That's perfectly fine. We are going to go ahead and use a Dig to take down Alakazam. Let's use some Blizzards to take down Exeggutor. Let's see how this goes. And we're going to Dig here on the Magneton. Rock Slide. Let's take down Cloyster. Come on, there we go. Now we just need to land a Dig, 2 Digs, in order to take down Flareon. Done and done. That was a grind, folks. This was not a super great run, but I'm stoked that we made it through with all of the challenges in front of our Rhydon. Double Team is 100% required for this one. Substitute would have made it better. Now let's go ahead and fight the final challenge, Mewtwo. Mewtwo really comes down to this. We need to get a freeze. Once we get the freeze, now we can set up Double Team, but this is purely for the badge boosts. Once we get our badge boosts in, we are now going to go ahead and take this one down with Dig. There we go. We have beaten the entire game with a level 56 Rhydon. We had to use all the rare candies, we had to use Double Team from Giovanni onward in order to make it work, but we were able to beat the game. So, I hope you enjoyed this one. It was a really big challenge. That's got me thinking, are there some other Pokemon that are going to be a big challenge like this? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta put my own personal favorite up, because if my personal favorite doesn't make it through, well, that's gonna crush me, but it's still gonna be very interesting content. That Pokemon, folks, is Arcanine. Arcanine was always my favorite, but it's gonna have a huge test in front of it. We already showed that it could beat Rival 5 on minimum battles, but it hasn't taken on Blaine, it hasn't taken on Giovanni, it hasn't taken on Lorelei, who's going to be super great against an Arcanine, hasn't taken on Bruno, who could actually be trouble for it. All of these are real, serious challenges in front of an Arcanine, so let's see if we can do it. That's the one that I'm going to drop next week. I hope you liked this one. Like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.